And aloha! Welcome to the Blue Note Fan Report. I'm Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan, and I'm your host on the only program that is by a fan, for the fan, and absolutely about you, the fan.
So are you Guy or Guy?
Ed Danowski.
You're not in Hawaii?
I wish.
To Mr. Gary Younger.
Hi, Guy.
Hey, sir, how are you?
And Brock, how are you doing?
Doing great, sir. Doing great. Honored to have you on the show.
You know, I had the privilege while I was in the forces, in the Canadian Armed Forces, to take the Stanley Cup to Afghanistan. Only hockey fans would deploy to Afghanistan where it's 105 to 135 degrees every day, and they'd take their hockey sweaters and play ball hockey. This is the year for the Leafs. The Leafs are going to win it all this year. One of the players down the line said, "You got to be kidding. The Taliban got a better chance of winning the cup."
Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
And aloha! Welcome to the Blue Note Fan Report. I am Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan, and I'm your host on the show that's by a fan, for the fan, and about you, the fans. Hey, welcome. I hope you're enjoying your Memorial Day weekend. AZ Sports Guys here. Hey, man, how you doing? Give me a minute. I got to turn another light on. Second. There we go. There we go. Now I don't look so dark. Hey, so let's bring in my co-host today. Number one is Mr. Brock Banner from the Hockey Writers and STLFanReport.com. And joining him is going to be Lance DeScott from the Drop Hockey Podcast. Lance, how you doing today, my friend?
Not too bad, guys. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. And Brock, you doing good, my friend?
Making copies. Gonna do all my Saturday Night Live drops tonight for you, Lance.
What?
Making copies. Man. The Copy Meister. The Caparino.
All night long, man.
AZ says he feels left out today. Well, AZ, we'll get you back. Hey guys, I have next week. I'm working on setting up at least 2 former Blues guests. I think they're going to work. Tomorrow we were supposed to do right wingers or left wingers, but we're going to kind of do the wingers on Wednesday because tomorrow I have an Islanders fan and a Boston Bruins fan. And we're going to talk about that series. I think that, people won't mind us moving that a little bit and talking about that series. Before we get going.
Guy, I'm so happy it's hockey. I thought you meant left wing and right wing political people. So I'm just happy that it's not politics.
No, you know me better than that. I'm not going into politics one spot. Bubba says, salute to Guy and Brock. We appreciate that, man. But,
hey, time out. Go for it. I want you.
He froze. You're freezing, Brock.
You're freezing and you're rumbling.
Yeah, you froze on us.
I want you to say it, Guy, because I think you say it the most articulate way about Memorial Day.
Okay. I put it out. Look, it's okay to thank people for their service on Memorial Day, right? A lot of people say Memorial Day is for those who are lost and Veterans Day are for those who served and armed forces. Guys like me take Memorial Day very differently. I've lost and recently lost shipmates due to complications from service, due to suicide, and other reasons. So I take this to remember my shipmates and my comrades. So when you tell me, thank you for your service on Memorial Day, or you say, remember those who served, I take that. I appreciate that, because that helps remember those that we lost. Yeah. Right. And that's the way I look at it. And I hope everybody else sees that too. Ashley's here. Hey, Ashley, I shared it in some groups. Can you kind of get it around and see what we can get? We're still working on the switch to YouTube and Twitter. We'll get there. Once Facebook gives me let's go with that. Excuse me. The block. I'll do a little more Facebook just to get people to move, so they know about the move, because they don't know about the move basically. But we'll get it. We'll get it, and we'll go there. Thanks so much for that, Lance. Brock, I appreciate that. I know how you feel about it too. Sure. Especially since you've lost your dad, who was a vet.
Yeah. Hopefully you guys can hear me.
Yeah, yep. You're good.
Okay. But I heard it was said the best. It's Veterans Day is for those who wore the uniform, but Memorial Day is for those who never got to step out of the uniform. And I thought that was really an accurate way to say it, and really touched my heart, because that is the truth.
See, I kind of disagree with that, because Memorial Day is for those who wore the uniform who are no longer with us. Because there's a lot of people who stepped out of the uniform who succumbed to the devastations of war.
Dude, you know what? I don't want to debate you. It's just happy.
No. I get it. No. I'm not saying it wrong. I'm not saying I just different way to look at it. That's all. Yeah. Right. Because of it. And okay. Let's get into yesterday real quick. Let's get into yesterday before we get into the wingers or into the centers. Right. Yesterday's game between Colorado and Las Vegas was the exact same game as Colorado and St. Louis in game one. It was the exact same game. Yep, right? Well, Colorado started it with Graves took a really, really dirty hit on I forget who it was. I had it up earlier. I had it going in slow motion on Twitter. You could see the puck was no longer there. It was 2 seconds after he let go of the puck that he was hit, right? And he got nailed shoulder to the head. Now, it was a shoulder check, but it was unnecessary. There was no reason for the check. It was within a foot of the boards. It lifted him off his feet and right into the boards, right? It was a nasty check, and that led to a lot of the
It was a hit on Matthias Janmark, I believe.
Yeah, Janmark. So I want to know what you guys think about, first of all, the hit on Janmark, and then the extracurricular activities that now has Ryan Reeves going before the board for the exact same thing that Wilson did. Tom Wilson did the exact same thing. It was the exact same thing. Yet he gets a match and Wilson got nothing.
It wasn't the exact same thing, because number one, Reeves first went after the goaltender and pushed him down, and then he took the other player and laid him down. And I agree that the similar instance, the second instance, was a lot like it, but the part with the goaltender was nothing like the other thing. And a lot of people are really touting, saying that the Avalanche are going to beat the Knights in 4 straight. Guys, I don't see that happening.
No, I don't either.
And that 9-minute power play, that had a lot to do with Colorado winning that game, because when you've got your penalty kill out there for 9 straight minutes, that is hard on you.
Yeah, well, yeah, it ended up being just over 7, but that was a ridiculous. First, well, here it gets back to what I said about the original series, against St. Louis. The refs caused that to happen by all they gave on that dirty hit was a 2-minute minor, right? For interference. You take a guy out on a penalty, it's got to become a major. I think it needs to be an absolute major. If a guy leaves the ice and it looks like he's not coming back, it's got to be a major.
Yeah, I fully agree, and I think Brock does too. And it's not going to stop until you hit these guys in the wallet more than $5,000, and you make these guys suspendable for the complete playoffs. That is the only way it's going to stop. 1 game suspension ain't going to stop. Do you think a 2-game suspension, if the Knights move on to the next round, is going to stop Ryan Reeves from being physical? No, it ain't going to stop.
Well, here's the thing. I don't have an issue with Reeves. My issue isn't with Reeves. It really isn't. My issue is with Graves. Reeves hitting Graves while he's down is exactly what Graves deserved. I'm sorry. I'm going to go there. That hit that the refs just said, okay, it's just a 2-minute minor, no big deal.
Yeah, but you know what? If he was, and I'm not saying Ryan Reeves isn't a man, but what he should have did was pushed him, backed off, and asked him if he wanted to go. And if he didn't want to go, find him somewhere later on in the corner, rough him up, and then start fighting him. The way he did it, to me, it's not tit for tat. It's hey, I'm going to come back and I'm going to beat the living crap out of you. It's not I'm going to throw you down to the ice and give you a concussion. Well, it's at least that's the way I look at it. I mean, Brock, how do you look at it?
Well, I mean, I think this is like and you and I, we've all talked about this. This is really part of a bigger thing. It's like we're seeing this every game, every big game. There's a big hit where someone gets hurt, someone's out, someone loses time from the playoffs. It's not some average Joe. It's usually the marquee star. So the league has got to do something. They're not going to, they can't let this continue, or else the guys will just bash each other's brains out. And I think that's ridiculous. But the fact is they haven't done anything. They've moved really slow. They've put their head in the sand about the whole thing and kind of act like it didn't happen. I mean, I know personally, the story I did earlier about Todd Ewan, who had CTE, suffered many years of brain injuries and ended up, committing suicide, debatable whether that was because of his CTE, but the fact is there have been a lot of problems going on with hockey, and they just have not dealt with them head on, so to speak, no pun intended. But for real, I think now it's getting very serious, and I think people are really disgusted with the savagery that's going on. And at some point, the players just need to kind of police themselves. Like, wait a minute, enough's enough. But I don't know, when you have goons like Tom Wilson and people like that.
Because what it's gone from is you do something to my player, I'm going to beat you up the next time, or somebody on my team's going to beat you up to where you hurt my player. Now I'm going to try to seriously hurt your player and give him a concussion or do something. It's totally different than the way it used to be. It's not comparable to the 80s and 90s. It's just not.
It's not, and it is different. You hit somebody with a dirty hit back then, you were getting fought right away. Away.
Yeah.
Right. There was none of this wait for later, any of that. But here's my issue with this. First of all, the two issues. Everybody complaining about the fines. The fines are set by the CBA.
I know. Yeah.
And well, I mean, because the CBA, that's what needs to change. The CBA has got to change. I wrote that article about the dopes and how to change that. I mean, this is the time for the NHL to get out there and change it. The other issue is officiating. Officiating caused this, plain and simple.
Yeah, and the best idea, Guy, instead of making it like, well, it's a flat $25,000 or $50,000 or $100,000 fine, because
percentage of AAV,
make it a percentage of their contract or how much they make a week from their checks they get each week from the teams. That way you don't have guys that are making $700,000 being fined $50,000 and guys that are making $8 million being fined $50,000. That's fair.
That's what I put it. If you read the article, it's on stlfanreport.com. That was one of my suggestions about the fine. You should check that out. So, hey, we're at the 15-minute mark, and I don't want to spend any more time on this. I want to get into the topic of today. We're going to break down the positions of the Blues going forward, right? We're going to start today with centers. And I don't know a lot. This is a subscription site, but if you have it, there was a great article on The Athletic today yesterday by Jeremy Rutherford, who I'm trying to get on the show. And he did kind of what we did. So we're going to get into centers. You look at the centers. If I remember right, blue is players under contract, red is pending free agencies, and green is restricted free agencies. So you get under centers, and under contract, you have O'Reilly, Shin, and Sundquist. So let's start with O'Reilly. Just real quick, what grade would you give O'Reilly for the season, Brock?
Okay, well, I'm going to give him an A. I'm going to give him an A.
Okay.
I mean, I know it's kind of homer, but I think he's the only bright spot on the team. And again, I'm going to get into that
Okay.
in the off season, but he was the only guy that showed up. So an A.
Okay. And you there, Lance?
I'm going to give him a B plus just based on the lack of production, effort, and being great in the locker room and helping guys out and setting examples. I would have given him an A, but I think because of his lack of production, I'm going to give him a B plus.
East German Judge shows up. All right.
Yeah. I'm gonna be right between you guys. I'm gonna go an A minus. I think the weight of the C bared on him a little bit, but overall I thought he did good. Braden Shin, right? The number 2 center. Where are you at with him, Lance?
I love Shinner. It just seemed like he had a lot on his mind this year, and I don't know what it was. It just seemed like some games he was the Braden Shin from last year or the Braden Shin from the year before. And other games, it's like, you didn't hear his name sometimes. And for Braden Shin, that's very, very rare normally when he's playing at his best. I give him a B minus.
Okay.
Just for that fact.
Good grade. Brock?
Man, I'll tell you what, I'm giving him a C minus. And that's being generous because I've been on him all year. He just hasn't shown up. I mean, people love the guy. He makes big money. We're not talking about some bottom line center. We made a commitment to the guy that we said he's going to be part of the future. And for whatever reason, it didn't happen for him this year. So again, I can't really get anything higher than a C.
Yeah. And I think my grades would be better if it was a full season, more, I think they'd be better grades. But these guys got a lot going on. They've got wives. Braden's got a fiance, and they got girlfriends. And, it's got to be tough to come home and have to be under, restrictions from the NHL, and your girlfriend or your wife says, I want to go somewhere. And you basically say you can't. And even though that girlfriend, wife, fiance loves you, it's going to play on you. So
sure.
I'm taking that into consideration too when I make these grades, just to let you guys know.
Yeah. Oh, real quick, the Islanders Bruins is 3-1 now. The Islanders had a great second period, scored 3 goals. Okay, the other guy under contract is Oscar Sundquist, and I'm pretty sure we're all going to agree with this. We're going to call it incomplete because he was injured for the season, right? But if I graded up to the injury, he would have been an A, right? And I say that because his presence was so felt once he was gone.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Okay, so now let's get into the RFAs. And the RFAs are important here. The first one is, and I can't click on the right button. The first one is Robert Thomas.
Guys,
yes, sir.
You didn't give me and Brock a chance to give a grade.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead, Brock.
So I'm sorry, we were talking about
Sundquist.
Sundquist.
Again, I'm going to say, I'm just saying incomplete. You can't give him a grade. He didn't play, but I think he wasn't shining as bright as the sunny man he's supposed to be. But I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because he did have a freak injury and kind of got wiped out for the year. So
yeah, I would give him a C, a B minus or C. But you're right. Overall it was incomplete. But if you made me put something down on paper, it'd be a B minus or a C.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, you look at his loss. His loss was huge, and that's why, right? Mm-hmm. And that's oops, and I just hit the wrong button again. I'm getting good at that. Okay, so let's go into the restricted free agencies. No arbitration right. Robert Thomas. Basically, that means once the Blues offer him a contract, he's got to take it.
Yeah.
Right. So where are you at on him, Brock?
I think they're gonna make an offer to him, but again, I think he's going to be a subject of a trade. They're going to use him as a trade piece. I think that he's too good, but he has not lived up to the expectations this year. He's been hurt, get it? But I think that it's a short-term memory around here, and I think he's going to be part of a trade package somewhere.
Oh, I'm not there with you. What do you think there, Lance?
I fully agree with Brock. I think, in fact, I know he's already been part of talks and trade packages. I think some Blues fans overrate him, and I think others underrate him. He's like a Steen to me. Some people loved Alex Steen, other people thought he was overhyped. Robert Thomas, I think he has some skill. A lot of people see him as a top line center. I don't think he's that. I think he's a second or third line center when he's at his best. I would give him a C. But I can't give him a B, and I don't think he was bad enough to give him a D. I think he was average when he was playing.
Okay, that's fair enough. For me, Thomas was a brighter spot in the lineup, so I'll go with a B- on that. Again, you got to look at the aggregate. The whole. The whole wasn't a great season, so guys get their grades dropped because it wasn't a great season. But at the same time, there are guys that did perform well. You have to look at, okay, well, he did this, but the whole season was bad. Would he have done better had the season been better?
Okay. So you'd say, okay, Robert Thomas. Okay, oh, yeah, he scored that one overtime goal. I forget who it was against. I think it was against the Ducks or somebody like that or whatever. But
I think you're right.
Outside of that, it's like, okay, I'm waiting. I'm like, okay, what other big moments did he have this year? And
remember
the ear test the ear test. He just broke
his wrist. Was out for 6 to 8 weeks. That had a huge part of it.
Yeah, but that happened at the end of the season.
No, that happened right in the beginning of the season. He was out the middle part of the season. He came back late. He came back in April.
Yeah, he did come back late. You're right. I'd forgotten about that, but. Yeah, he
came back in April, the beginning of April.
To me, I think there's so much pressure on him because of what the fans think he is, and I think he's a good, solid player. When he was drafted, and I watched him play in juniors, the kid was just amazing. And I just don't think he's matured. I don't think he's gotten to the point where most Blues fans thought he would be. And I know he's still young; he's very young. But I would still stick with my C grade on him.
Okay, so I'm going to put the next two together, Jacob De La Rose and Dakota Joshua. Both of them are RFAs with no arbitration rights. There have been rumors that De La Rose has gotten an offer from somebody else, and I can't remember who it was. So there is a good in Finland.
Yeah,
in Finland.
He's going. Right. He's going there. He ain't going to be with the Blues.
Okay, so we'll kind of leave De La Rose off for a moment.
I would,
and go with Joshua. Had a cup of coffee, but for me, it was a good cup of coffee. Lance?
Yeah, I think he had a nice little, convenience food mart, 16, 12-ounce cup of coffee. And with that 16 to 12-ounce cup of coffee, it was very smooth. It was tasty. Sometimes during the game, he was very hot. And when you finish that 12 to 16-ounce cup of coffee, you wanted more. You wanted another refill of Dakota Joshua. When he was on the ice, 90% of the time, man, he impressed me. There were a few mistakes, but for a guy like him, just to come in the way he did, and we've seen other people come in, and it's hard to learn Berube's system defensively and offensively. And I thought he, for who he is, how long he played, man, I give him a B+.
Yep. Brock, we lose you?
Brock's frozen.
Reno. Yeah, he might be frozen. Okay, well, then I'll go ahead. No, I'm with you. I thought Dakota.
I think I'm sorry, am I breaking up? I feel like might.
Yeah, you're broken up.
Yeah, you're broken up. He'll bounce right back in. I like Joshua. I thought he was good. He's 19 years old, 20 at the most.
Yep.
Came into a hard system, not only that, into a group of guys, veteran guys who were dealing with injuries, who were dealing with COVID, and he fit. Right.
Well, I can tell you one thing, and I think you'll agree with me, Guy.
Yeah.
I think out of everybody on the team, including guys that have been here a while and guys that, that had the cup of coffee this year, I think besides Zach Sanford, I think Dakota Joshua is one of Craig Berube's favorite players
Yeah, I can see that.
Even in a game or two where I watched where he made several pretty bad mistakes, he wasn't set the next game. And so I think that Berube loves him. And like I said, I give him a B, and I'm sure Brock thought he played pretty well too, didn't you, Brock?
I was going to say, again, sorry about the connection here.
That's all right.
That happened.
My wife's watching Netflix. Doesn't she know we're talking off-season hockey?
It's hockey, man.
No, I got to tell you, I was disappointed Joshua didn't play more, and I was really kind of scratching my head because I thought he came in, he made an impact right away. He's a big body. He's not afraid to crash and be that nuisance, like in a different sort of way, but kind of in a way that Patty Maroon was, and that's one of the things that we were really missing. I felt like that he was a guy that would get in and mix it up, and then poof, he disappeared. As Guy likes to say, he started watching the game from the press box at Craig Berube's invitation, and then all of a sudden he just disappeared and really didn't reappear the rest of the year. So let me scratch my head. Now, Jacob De La Rose, I think, probably a fine player. Not sure he got that big of a chance here in St. Louis, but I'm sure he'll go on and have a solid career. But just again, I don't have anything against that guy, but I think for the Blues, I think it's just really clear what they got to do in this area.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, I don't know if you heard me. Jacob De La Rose is going to play overseas. I think he's going to be happier over there. He wasn't happy with the minutes he got after being traded from Detroit, and he wasn't happy with the minutes he got there necessarily. So I think he's gone. But he's.
But here's the thing with him: he's a young kid getting that playing time overseas, and if he succeeds, that will bring him back and get him the playing time he needs here.
It's quite possible, but even when he was, when he was younger, it's 16 to 18 years old. Yeah, he's just been that guy that's a mucker type. He's not going to score many goals. He's a fourth line guy, and to me, there's just a plethora of fourth line guys. But some teams will take a chance on him in a couple of years if he does well. But he's just one of those type of players that Berube liked.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so now let's talk about the UFA, Tyler Bozak. I'll start with Brock on this one because I know Lance is going to go off on him. Go ahead, Brocker.
Good. So I originally was really all in on Bozak. I thought, man, he's the guy that we definitely need, and we need him. He's kind of the glue that holds us together, and I was really singing his praises. Now I'm a little less anxious about signing him, especially at the dollars that he's going to sort of command. I think he's okay, but I think, he's just a guy this year. He didn't really, stand out. Again, he was injured. I get it. He got the crap knocked out of him by Mark Stone. Yep. Unfortunate that happened. And again, he came back and he was effective, but he wasn't, I really shouldn't say that. He was, good. He had scored a couple shorties, and but I'm not sure he's going to be worth the investment that he's going to get from another team. Like Lance says, somebody's going to pay him. And I just don't think it should be the Blues, but I'm interested.
Yeah, I actually don't think he's going to. Well, go ahead, Lance.
I think if I were the GM of the Seattle Kraken and I was going to have a young team, Tyler Bozak would be the perfect fit. And with the Kraken as a third or fourth line center, he can teach guys. He can show them what it's like to be a professional. To me, he's just one of those guys that, especially this year, I know he was hurt and a concussion does a lot to you. It seemed like some games, like the hearing test, you didn't hear his name very often. And I thought he played better in the playoffs, even though people can say, well, how did he play better? The Blues were swept. I thought he played pretty good against the Avalanche, but I think a 35-year-old Tyler Bozak, I think you need to move on from him. And to be honest, guys, there's a center that I would love the Blues to sign, and he's an unrestricted free agent. He's only 27, 28 years old. He's 6'4", 212 pounds, and our buddy Jeremy from Sly Fox Sports knows him. It's Jankowski from Pittsburgh. Yeah, 6'4", big guy, 27, unrestricted.
Well, we're gonna get there. You're jumping the gun on me, Lancer. So hey, everybody, this is Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan, coming to you live on Facebook and Twitter. You're watching, or not Facebook and Twitter, on Twitter and YouTube. You're watching the Blue Note Fan Report, brought to you today by War Stories Inc., War Stories Coffee, Man, I'm just having one of them days. Mike Zook Enterprises and Forrest Crump Enterprises. Be sure to check out stlfanreport.com for more information. Okay, so we've gone over what the Blues have. Now we need to go over what the Blues need. And you just kind of talked about it a little bit. We're going to probably lose Bozak. We're going to lose Delarose. And we have room for something else there. The big name being tossed around is Jack Eichel. Now, we all know that I am not in on Eichel. Okay, fair enough. Well, you guys are in on Eichel. So I want to hear from you guys first a little bit. Don't get too much because I want you still to do the article. But I want to hear a little bit about why you guys are so in on Eichel.
Actually, I am in on Eichel if we can get him for the right price, just because of his age and because of some of the success he's had. But real quickly, before I let Brock talk, we keep forgetting one thing.
You mean you're going to let Brock talk?
Yeah. And one guy that is going to be an unrestricted free agent that nobody in St. Louis is talking about, that I believe his team can't afford, even though they lost in the first round, is Nugent Hopkins. I was going to bring him up. I don't think that they can afford to keep him and what he's going to ask for. He's 28. He had 16 goals, 19 assists in 52 games. That's pretty good. And I don't think that Edmonton can afford him. I just don't. And if he's there and somebody says, okay, you can go out and sign Nugent Hopkins, or you can trade Thomas and a couple first round picks or whatever, a package for Eichel, I would take Nugent Hopkins in a heartbeat. My thing about Eichel, I think the only thing that concerns me is his neck. If his neck is fine, I've got no problems with the trade. As like I said the other night, as long as Buffalo pays $4 to $5 million of it, so, somewhere in that range, and the Blues, even if they got to give up Robert Thomas and one first rounder and maybe something else to go along with it, I'm fine with it. I don't want 2 or 3 first round picks, Eichel, and then a guy. And I think that's too much.
Okay. I'm absolutely with you on the fact that Eichel is not worth what everybody says he is. And this is cap friendly. And this is all of the centers that are active right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it's by their cap hit, right? Not their salary, their cap hit. And if you look at right away, things that leap out to you, you see Eichel is 5th, right? And okay, I get it. He's overpaid. We all know that. We've already discussed that. Let's look at what's below Eichel and that does not have a movement clause, right? First name that pops out, Leon Draisaitl.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to move 4 guys for one, that's the guy you move 4 guys for one for.
Yeah, I would do that in a heartbeat.
Okay, I would give up Thomas. I give up some guys to get him. I give up some younger guys. I give up draft picks to get him.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to know what's worth 4 first round picks, that's a guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Drop down 2 more. Sebastian Aho.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
He's worth 4 guys, right? Drop down a little bit more. Matt Duchene. Maybe not worth 4, but worth 3. Worth 3 guys. Duchene only played 34 games. And I don't, again, other division, I think he was hurt this year.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that might have something to do with it. Right below Duchene, Ryan Johnson, 48 games, 22 points. There's a possible trade there, though I don't see them trading within the division. Ryan O'Reilly comes in. Our number 1 center comes in at 19th at $7.5 million. I'm okay with that. 56 games, 54 points, right at a point a game. I'm absolutely okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Jordan's got to go. No problem, Jordan. We'll see you tomorrow night. Same bat time, same bat channel. Yes, I'm old. You go a little bit further, right below number 21, Nico Hasher. Right. you look at this, these are guys that I think could be had. Every guy that I've just mentioned, I think could be had. I don't think any of them is on the, no touch list. Maybe Drysdale, but they've got to look at, if they're going to build around Connor McDavid, they need to switch things up. They need to break this up. They need to get past the first round. They need to do something differently. They need to work it to where they're given the support. And if you can bring in 4 players for one and another first round pick or 2 first round picks in the next 2 years, they may go for that. So nobody that I've mentioned is off the charts. Then you have, and this is the one that kind of leaped at me, Matthew Barzell. Here's a guy that now he's not worth 4 number ones, but he's worth 3. And if you could, the Islanders may be willing to part with him. Maybe not. I mean, depends on how far they go in the playoffs, right? If they get to the 3rd round, he's not untouchable. But there's a possibility. Braden Point with Tampa, $6.75 million, right? Tampa, let's say Tampa gets knocked out in the 3rd round or in the 2nd round. Maybe that's somebody else that they're willing to look at. But he might be. In fact, your untouchables are lower than your touchable than you would think.
I think Braden Point.
Yeah,
they're going to have to pay him big bucks, and I'm talking $9 to $10 million a year to keep him. Yep.
He's
an RFA, so but I don't think he goes. I don't think his contract's up this year, right?
Well, I'm talking about eventually. I think he's
eventually.
I think he's up next year, the year after. But I'm just saying,
sure.
I'd love to have the guy.
So and what I was going to jump in and say before was that some of the names are kind of mentioned are just kind of like pickles and onions. I mean, they're like, okay, they're dressing, but they're not the meat, And I say, like, Jack Eichel, he's a franchise player. He's their guy. He's the marquee guy. And I think where the franchise is at is they're just kind of vanilla. They're kind of blah, And I think they need a marquee person. Guy, you could disagree with me. I'm just telling you, this is just my opinion, dude. I can see it going in conniptions. I'm just saying, I think they need a marquee player. Tarasenko is not that guy anymore. Braden Shen has failed to step up.
Speaking of Tarasenko, he went to the Worlds today. He got to play today, had an assist, and won the game. Tarasenko is getting that. Tarasenko's going to be there. Tarasenko's back. I think he is. I think he showed in that game set. If we could have won game 4, we would have seen a totally different Tarasenko in game 5. We would have seen the Tarasenko of old by game 5.
Doesn't matter.
Right? No, I mean, that's the way you look at it. Well, I want to know Lance, is Eichel elite?
I think he's below elite. I think he's a step below. I would take out of this list, I'd take Point, I would take Drysdale, I would take a bunch of guys off this list before him. And when you start talking about the top 30 guys and you say there's 10, 11 other guys I would take over Eichel, that makes him not elite. He's very good, trust me. He's very, very good.
I'd love to have is Sebastian Aho, but I'm sure everybody would like to have that guy.
Yeah, I would love to have.
Yeah.
But see, that's what and this is what and Lance, you brought up Nugent Hopkins. He's 37th on this list by salary.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He's only making $6 million, and he's a UFA.
Yep, and he's young. He's young. He's a guy that absolutely, I think you could pry him from Edmonton. I really do. I do too.
If now, okay, you took the same package that you wanted to offer Edmonton or offer Buffalo and offered it to Edmonton. Would Edmonton take it? I think they would. I honestly think they would. And you would get a better deal. Why not? I mean, give me one good reason why you don't take that deal before you offer it to Buffalo and go to Edmonton and say, hey, what do you think about this? We'll give you this for Drysdale. Now he's a UFA, and you've already, $6 million. You can't have two $10 million players on your team.
Yeah, and you know who else I would go to? I would go to them. and say that same thing. I would go to Carolina and I said, I know it's probably a no, but here's what we're offering. I'll give you Robert Thomas. He's young. Yeah, he's been hurt, but he's got a lot of great potential. He could be a star. He could be a superstar. He could just be a good player. And we'll give you these picks, and we'll give you this other guy, someone in the minors that could be a third or fourth line guy, and say we're offering the same other team. Of course, you don't tell them the teams, and you'll sit back and see what teams are going to take it.
Oh my goodness, the Leafs lost. They're out again.
Yes,
oh my goodness.
Yes, Brock, thank you for wearing that shirt. Yes.
Oh my goodness. The city of Toronto is going to burn tonight.
There's going to be cars burnt. There's going to be businesses broken into.
Oh my God.
They're all going to be what? A month ago, they were all talking about Kyle Dubas being the best GM ever. And I told people at the beginning of the year, they're going to be a great regular season team, but the North is the worst division in hockey, and they're going to get beaten in the first round.
Wow. Jets and Montreal. So you only got 1-2 out of 2 of the 4 divisions. You got 1-2 out of 2 of the 4 divisions, and you got 2-3 or 2-4 in the other one, and 3-4 and then 3-4 in the other 2.
Hey,
right?
you guys,
I think Winnipeg was a 3.
Real quick, I was watching some of that Toronto Montreal game, and it was eerily similar to the Blues. The Toronto, they would come in from the sides, try to get traffic in front of that. They were getting cleared out. They could get no penetration.
They were getting stuffed on the boards. They were getting stuffed on the boards.
Hit a post early and stuff, and they just could not get anything to bounce their way. So I'll tell you what, it happens to other teams, not just the Blues.
But you know what? You know who else I take that deal to? I take that deal to Tampa on Braden Point. Right? You could take that deal. You could take that deal to 3 teams on 4 players. Now, the deal on Nugent Hopkins would be a little less. I would drop it down to 3 players.
But it's like I said earlier. If Eichel, if they could get Eichel for Thomas, a number 1, and let's say a middle line prospect, and maybe a 3rd round pick, I'd do that in a heartbeat.
Okay,
I would take a chance on it.
And they got to take some of that money because all these players, every single player that I mentioned, with the exception of maybe 2, is worth more than Eichel is. And that's been my point all along.
But money. But you know what? If they can prove his injury is not career threatening or isn't going to hinder him, then that money, it's not going to be as bad of a thing if you're thinking about it. And if they could get him for a lower amount, and like I said, at first I was saying, give them what they want, give them all those first round picks, and give them Robert Thomas and 5. And if they pay 5, if they'll take much less, I'm thinking now that I would do 7, but I wouldn't go higher than that at all. I would say I'll pay $7 million, you pay $3 million. But I would not go higher than that. And it's got to be proven that his neck isn't going to be a factor.
Well, here's another one now. Matthews could be available. Now,
No way.
Okay, here's the interesting part. There are 6 centers that are worth $10 million AAV.
Mm-hmm.
Guess how many of them are still in the playoffs? 0.
Oh, no.
I was going to say
0.
1-0.
You have McDavid, Matthews, Tavares, Taves, Eichel, and Kopitar. Do you know what a $10 million player does to your team? It handicaps, it handcuffs your team, because that you could take that money, get 2 players that will equal the 1.
It's like I've told Leafs fans all year. You've got around $40 million tied up with Tavares, Matthews, Nylander, and Marner. You're not going to win anything. You're not, because you're not going to be able to get good enough defense and have a good enough goaltender to get you to the cup.
Right. Now let me I'm going to make one quick change to this, right? I had it set at just centers. So I want to look at all players that are making $10 million. I think only three are still in the playoffs. And I'm surprised at one of them, but only 3 are. So you look down here, go all the way to here. There are 13 players. There are only one player still in the playoffs.
And he's a goaltender.
and he's a goaltender. Carey Price is the only player making $10 million that's still in the playoffs. When you pay a guy that much, he handicaps your team. Look at some of the $9 million players, right? How far do I have to go before I get the next player that's in the playoffs?
Vegas.
No.
Mark Stone.
No. Yeah, Mark Stone at 19.
Tampa.
Kucherov at 18. That's how far down I got to go, and he's at 9.5.
But you know what, guy? And the next 2 years, there's going to be a ton of guys making $10 million a year, even though the salary cap's going to be stale probably. In the next couple of years, you're going to see guys like Ryan O'Reilly that are going to be at the 10 million mark.
I think O'Reilly comes in at 9. I don't think it's this. The agents aren't changing their point of view, and they're going to find out that their point of view doesn't work anymore. I had an agent tell me.
But you know what, guy? You keep pushing it. If you're an agent, I don't care what the salary cap is. My players were 10. I'm going to ask for 10 and see what you give me. Because if you go in thinking that way as an agent and you think, well, the salary cap's down and it's going to be a flat cap, he was worth 10. Let me see if I can get 8. Then you know what they're going to do? They're going to offer you 6.5 to 7.
Okay.
You've got to go in and ask for more than what you want.
That's fine. You can go in and offer 10, but 10's not happening. That's what I'm getting at. And you're right. That's what an agent needs to do. But one agent tried to sell me that, well, the salary cap's never been this higher, never been this high, and this and that and that. But there's so many other things going on. Hey, the story so far, Vince, I have to ask you a question. I really do. I want to know if you'd be willing to come on the show Thursday after game 2. Because I really want to grill you. I'm telling you straight up, I want to grill you and ask you and get your impression on some things. Because I'll tell you what, even if I was an Avs fan, I'd be disgusted. And that's just my personal opinion. But if you're willing to come on, let me know and we'll set something up.
Hey, Vince, he's got the charcoal going. He's got the poker. He's got the what those things called, tongs. He's getting ready to turn the heat up, and he needs you on the show.
On the grill.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I got the lighter fluid and everything. But if you're willing, and I guess I froze for a second. If you're willing, let me know. And you know, we won't be combative. You've watched the show enough to know that we're respectful. But there's things I need to ask, and I want to ask, and I want to hear from the Avalanche fan base. I tried to get one of the reporters. Unfortunately, they're so freaking busy right now. They're declining, but I get that.
Hey, Brock, promise me that you won't allow him to overcook him, that he just keeps him medium rare or rare.
You know, medium well is the best way to cook meat. Rare, too much. I mean, there's parasites still, so don't get me started. Well, that's a whole thing.
Well, when it comes to the Avalanche,
when it comes to cooking the Avalanche, guy's going to do it well done.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot to get rid of all the parasites on the Avalanche in my mind.
That's a real good way to get him on, guy.
Yeah. But you know, I'm being fair. You know what? That's one thing I've been asking people why they enjoyed the show, right? I've been asking because I want to know why. I want to see what's happening, why the audience isn't going up and then things like that. So I've been really hitting my core fans. And the one thing that I hear about the site and the page is that you guys don't pull punches. You guys tell it like it is. You haven't pulled a punch. You've been honest. And when you disagree, you're not yelling and screaming at each other. You're not cursing at each other. You should
hear the voicemails we leave for each other.
Hey, you didn't see the SNL reference response that Brock gave me.
I seen some of that. I think you're out on that. You're out on that plank all by yourself, my friend. You're on that plank all by yourself. So I won't get too into it. Brock put out a post or put out a tweet called The Follow Train. And in the bottom of it, he had Chance the Rapper did a skit about 4 years ago called Let's Do That Hockey.
Yep, 2017 or
Let's
2018.
do that
Yeah,
hockey.
let's do that hockey. Lance does not like it, felt
do
that
not.
it was demeaning. But now for me, I thought it was, oh my goodness, look at this. Okay, bud, what I need you to do is if you're on Facebook, send me a PM. Well, friend me first and send a PM to Guy Benson. If not, send me an email to guy@stlfanreport.com.
Hey guys, real
Yes,
quick.
sir.
Real quick. Sorry, Vince. I got to break in here.
Oh, yeah.
I keep refreshing my NHL.com page.
Yeah.
And ever since the Canadians beat the Leafs within 10 seconds later, it says error. It's not showing any of the scores. It just says error with a big red mark.
I can't believe it.
Oh,
Now,
man.
there it
It's
goes.
because
There it
because
goes. Now
Leafs
it's working.
fans are pounding the
Now it's working.
yeah, I was getting the error too.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to
Well,
update it and they can't. That's
I wanted
funny.
to say about the Chance the Rapper thing. To me, it was it's a pop reference. Again, I did not want to offend anybody. Please understand that. And I know you do that, Lance. I know that you weren't offended. But again, I just really I thought it was great that there was a pop reference about hockey because the NHL is never considered in mainstream media at all. So to me, that was kind of impressive. But again, I guess the whole thing was kind of stupid. But yeah, you know what? I like stupid things.
Well, I mean, I understood where it was going, and it was stereotypical. I get that. It was absolutely stereotypical, but it was satirical. And because of that, it made sense, right? And the satire that was in it, and the fact that you send this reporter here who has no clue what he's doing, and the only thing you can say is it's cold out here, right? Remember Mystery Alaska?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Who did they have sing the national anthem? Do you remember?
I can picture his face, but I can't.
Little Richard Pettiman.
Yep.
Little Richard. And Little Richard's in his trailer, bundled up, going, it's cold. I'm so cold. That's all he's doing, you know? It was just a satirical. And I got it. But at the end, Richard went and did what they wanted, and it was funny, and it worked. So I'm okay with that. Wow, guys, this was a fun hour. We got about 8 minutes to go. And I'm just thinking, see, this center thing, this works, right? We may have to adjust our when we do the next one, because I know tomorrow I want to do Bubba says Toronto is going to burn to the ground, and it
will.
Absolutely is.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, if you're in Toronto, if you're watching the show at all, please be safe. And if you're the type of people that are going to do that kind of stuff, please don't, because you're not just doing it for poops and giggles. You're hurting.
You're putting a black
lives.
eye on the league.
Yeah,
you're putting a black eye on the league.
Yep.
We need to check in with our man Kylo Ren. He lives up there in Montreal.
You might want to send him a text.
Yeah, send Michael a text.
Yeah. Send Mike a text, make sure he's okay.
That I actually went to Montreal. That's where I actually got this shirt. And
Yeah.
what a beautiful city. I know
It is
Nancy's been
beautiful.
up there.
It's
And I
beautiful.
actually got a chance to tour the old Forum, which they made into like a movie theater and like a mall. But it was really cool because you could walk down there and they got a section of the stands and they got statues of people in their Montreal. It was really neat. I thought they did a great job with it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, that would be something. I'm kind of glad they did that, because a lot of times you get these old buildings and they just tear them down, and some of them are landmarks. You know, you look at Boston with the old Boston Gardens that's gone. The Madison Square Garden was rebuilt. Am I right? So the original Madison Square Garden is gone.
Yeah, it was basically yeah.
Yeah, and then you have the stadium in Chicago that's gone.
Mm-hmm.
You have the one up there in you have Joe Louis Arena in Detroit that's gone. You have the one in Calgary that's gone. That was kind of iconic.
Don't forget the Checker Dome.
The Checker Dome, that being gone. The Checker Dome.
Real quick, I think it'd be a neat show some night just to talk about what other stadiums have you been to that you've been impressed with? Because I know I've been to a couple that I thought they did a good job, and maybe we get some fans in the lounge to write in some of their favorite stadiums were.
Oh, that's not bad.
Stadiums, and I'm sure Nashville will come up.
And I've been to everyone in Canada, every single one.
Yeah, I'd actually like to go to that new Saddle Dome. I think that's pretty. The way they built that, right? That's pretty neat.
Yeah, the old Met Center in Minnesota, the IKEA place is really nice too.
Yeah, so that was interesting. No, Brock, that's a great off-season topic.
That's an excellent idea, Brock.
Yeah, that's an excellent idea.
I think a lot of people like to travel, and if they, with the pandemic.
Yeah. You know what we can do? Hey, we can do this. Instead of like all this week, I said we were going to do the positions. Let's do the positions every Monday. Right? Because we got time. We've got the time. We got 5 weeks at least. So we do the positions every Monday.
Spread it out. Yeah.
Right? Spread it out instead of doing it all in 1 week. So next Monday, we'll do left wingers. What?
Boston just scored.
Oh,
Boston Rocket. Wow.
So what? It's 3-1? 3-2?
3-2 now.
Okay.
Yep.
Ooh. That's going to be interesting to see what happens with that series.
Yeah,
that's going to be a good one to talk to. So, hey, Lance, what do you got going on right now, buddy?
I'm going to be having a show coming up. Going to have a special guest, and we're going to be talking about the Blues, of course, and how the season went, how the playoffs went, and the playoff series right now, and who surprised everyone. I think I'm going to do that one on Thursday, and it should be available Thursday night, Friday morning. But besides that, you can, catch me at droppodcast.com, Lance D at droppodcast.com. My personal Twitter handle is hockey goalie STL, one word. And of course it's Drop Hockey Show on Twitter. You can look me up there, but, and of course you can find me on Guy's show when, ever he asked me to be on, but I know I got some fans out there. Even when I'm not on, please show up and watch Guy's vlog, because it's very entertaining, and it's one of the few in town that I truly love, and I think that is done correctly.
Well, Lance, I really appreciate that. What you got going, Brock?
Well, I'll tell you what, for the hockey writers, we're doing our end of the season report cards. I got to do Doug Armstrong, so
cool.
A couple surprises there, and won't give away too much on that. Not real high on him this year, but again, for you, Guy, for the website, we're going to take a look at. We talked about the crash that changed everything, the Pavel Demitra crash, kind of linking it to Bobby Plager crash, how that changed the franchise this year, and also. With David Perron kind of being in the middle of both and having that point per game series or streak, Demitra was the last person to do that. So
are you going to
let you know?
Are you going to add Bob Gassoff into that?
You know what? That's a good point.
Yeah,
that's actually a good point. Yeah. Sure. And then let's just tell you some of that Red Wing stuff that you and I talked about. That's actually on Anchor, so I'll have to send you the link.
All right.
Some of that audio is on Anchor. So, and then the other big thing that Guy and I are really doing is we're working with some of the new writers, trying to get them going and get them. We've had a couple guys produce some really good copy the other day.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to keep people.
We actually have
keep moving.
2 new writers. One you don't know about. One old writer, one new writer.
Okay.
There's a guy that I put a post out and he says, "Hey, I love hockey. I'll write for you." He sent me something today. Rough, but we'll work with it. I'm still trying to read it a little more before I break it up and see what I can do with it. But also, speaking of Anchor, and then we got Jeremy back, and he wrote a thing on the Pittsburgh Penguins that I'm working with the new format to see if I can make that work. And then we'll put that out hopefully tomorrow. But speaking of Anchor, the Blue Note Fan Report is on Anchor. You can find it at anchor.fm /guy.a.bensing, or you can just search the Blue Note Fan Report. As you can see here, I got a bunch of episodes that nobody's listening to. That's fine. I'm just letting you know they're available. If you want to start listening to this show, we're going to put it up every day. Within the next day, within 24 hours, we'll have it up. Check out the Blue Note Fan Report on anchor.fm. I know that we're on Spotify, Radio Public, Pockets, Cast, Google Podcast, and Breaker. So I'm still trying to get on. I don't know why I haven't got on Apple Podcast yet. I'll have to send something to them to see why. Great show, guys. Really a good show. I got to hand it to you. We took a topic that I was a little concerned about, and we turned it into that's a good one too, man.
Yep.
I didn't want a real good one.
I didn't want to say it out loud because everybody copies you in this city. So
yeah. We'll keep that one for another time, but that's a good one too.
Because it's similar to something you and I were talking about today, Brock.
Yeah, Brock, go to the private chat. You'll see it. This has been a lot of fun. We took a topic.
Yes.
Yeah. This is what I liked about the show. We took the first 15 minutes. We talked about the up-to-date stuff, and then we went to our topic, and we really nailed it. Right? We got everybody's opinions. We got to look at it, and I was able to sit there and show you guys a little bit more why I'm not sold on Eichel. And I think that works. I thought it worked really well. We were able to all rant our post. It was pleasing to listen to. Great job, man.
Thank you.
I think she's talking about one of Lance's, hopefully one of ours too. But hey, or maybe this episode. We enjoy talking to you guys. We enjoy talking hockey. We'll start, actually, as the season progresses down, we're going to start talking other sports, right? Cardinal baseball is getting hot. They're sitting in first, or actually they might be in second now. I don't know what happened with the Cubs yesterday. I know the Blues I know that the Cardinals lost. I'm not sure if the Cubs lost, and the Cubs were only a half game back. So I didn't check that out yet, but we'll start talking about baseball. We'll start bringing other sports in, because I'd like to keep this daily stuff going as long as we can, and then maybe back it off to twice or three times a week, depending on what our viewership is. Right? Cubs won, so they're up by a half a game. So we're in second, so we fell back. We'll see. Ashley Jones says, I'm just a hockey fan. Leafs, pull the Leafs. Yeah, Darkness. I'll agree with you there. I won't talk much on other sports. Well, Ashley, that's fine. But you know what, Ashley? This is the one thing about you that I love is you're willing to learn, right? I know you're a true blue Blues fan, and that's all you really know, but you're so willing to learn. Oh, and don't forget, tomorrow we'll be picking the Islanders, not the Islanders. Boston. What game's on tomorrow? Tampa,
Carolina.
Tomorrow for the contest, we'll be picking Tampa and
Carolina.
Carolina. Man, I couldn't spit it out. Tampa and Carolina. So don't forget that to get on the pick'em contest. We need to talk about that tomorrow too, because the numbers are dropping. And I get it, but I want to bring new fans into it. I want to bring new people into it now that we're doing more. I wanted to give a signed puck away today. We'll see who I end up giving it to. See what I can get for him. Okay, guys, this is Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan. Yep, that's what he is, a total laughter. Oh, before we go, I found the perfect song for our podcast. Right? I found it.
Don't sing it. Don't sing it.
No, I won't sing it.
Does it take this job and shove it by Johnny Paycheck?
No, it's even better than that. I'm probably going to say her name wrong. It's by Beba Rexha, and it's called "I'm Going to Show You Crazy."
Yeah, if
I could find a clean version of that song, I would write to them to ask for permission to put it on the show.
Hey, you know what?
Use it. What?
I'll tell you what, Babe Rexha, her daddy done spanked her bottom for showing a lot of cleavage one time. Her daddy ain't so happy.
Oh no!
With, the way she
dressed. They're from
Deep South.
Yep.
No. They're from East. They're from Russia. Right? They're from the Russian bloc.
I don't know that.
Yeah, they're from the Russian bloc, and she grew up in New York. I was reading about that. But that song, the chorus would be a great song for this show, right? And we're just gonna have fun. If I could find a clean version of that, I think I would write to the company to get permission.
Also, remember one thing: if it's so many seconds and under, you don't have to ask for permission.
Is it 30 seconds or is it 10 seconds?
I'll have to look it up because I've used 30-second clips, and I've even talked to people and they've never said anything.
Time out. Time out.
Yeah.
I'm married to an attorney who specializes in copyright. I cannot legally stand here and listen to you guys talk about this. Just do some research and talk to somebody and find out what the situation is. Because there's a lot
Well,
of stories.
you got the perfect person to talk to.
I talked to my attorney about it too.
She's you know what? I mean, she's for hire, I guess, you know.
Well, she's charging you.
Family promotion. We've got family promotion
Hey,
now.
She don't give me an yeah. Anyway, but anyway,
Okay, guys.
I'll ask her.
Oh wow, I still hit the wrong damn button. There we go. This is Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan, for Brock Banner and Lance Scott from the Drop Hockey Podcast. Montreal pulled a upset down 3-1. We love you all. We can't wait to talk to you on tomorrow night's show. This is Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan, saying aloha, mahalo, let's go Blues, and you got to know I'm bleeding blue with you, and we cannot wait to see you on the next Blue No Fan Report. Aloha. Da, da, na, 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 na.